What up, everybody, and welcome to Baz on Blades. My name is Baz, and I talk about blades. And today's feature blade is another fine product from Civivi Knives. What we've got here is the Civivi Statera flipper folder, and it is a very attractive knife, guys. You know what? Even though it's got gold liners, because you know Baz on Blades does not like the gold liners, but I have to say this is a very attractive knife. I see why people love it so much. And you know what? I really like this knife. This is overall going to be a very positive review, just to let you know up front. Spoiler alert. And I want to say thank you to one of my viewers and subs and supporters, Jeff. Thank you very much for sending this knife to me to review, as it's not a knife that I would have bought because of the gold liners. But I very much appreciate this, and I very much appreciate Jeff sending this. And you guys notice that I am not using his screen name. And that is because I want to recognize him as a person and not just a screen name on YouTube, as that's how appreciative I am that he sent this to me, because it is a very fine knife, and I love knives, guys. I just enjoy checking out new knives, new quality knives, and that's what this is. The Civivi Statera, model number C901C. And what that basically means is it's the version in the black G10 with carbon fiber overlay. And then I believe there is also an OD green G10 with carbon fiber overlay. And I'm not sure about tan. I know there is OD green, but I'm not sure about tan, guys. But in this instance, this is the black G10 carbon fiber laminate. And you know what? You can pick these knives up from just about anywhere. I commonly use Blade HQ for my price references, and but everybody's got it at basically $68. A smart buyer would go over to White Mountain Knives, and you know what? I've never talked to the White Mountain Knives about getting a discount code, since you know my channel is sort of small, guys. There's a lot of discount codes out there. Slicey Dicey has got one. LTK has got one. I think Kevin Cleary has got one, if I am remembering right. So check out any of their reviews to get their discount code for 10% off. You know, that's $6.80 off of this. You're back down around $62 for this knife, and that's not too awful bad from White Mountain Knives. So, you know what, guys? Civivi is a sub-brand, an internal brand of WE knives, and what this brand is intended for is to give us the quality of a WE knife in a much more budget price range. And they started out with knives in the $40 to $45 price range, and they've done some more expensive knives. This is actually one of their more expensive knives at $68. And you know what? It's got some very unique features for the budget knife arena. Now, let's set this thing down real quick. Little beauty background shot of this. We'll bring in the packaging, and it is the black on white, very classy, subdued, finely done Civivi box here. You do have your information here as far as your model number, model name, designator, and some features there. I very much like Civivi's packaging. They have hit a very good balance of a premium yet accessible, as far as not adding a lot of price to the product itself, because you do want good looking packaging, but you don't want it to make the knife more expensive. And the best thing about these Civivi knives is they come with a zipper pouch, guys. You know, Civivi knives from $42 to $68 are coming with a zipper pouch, guys. It's a single pocket. just a clamshell pouch. It's got a nice soft interior. Your information from Civivi as far as your branding and warranty. The knife will come in a plastic baggie. You've got a Civivi branded microfiber cleaning cloth here. I mean, come on, guys. There's a lot of $200 knives that don't come with something like this, let alone knives that are $40 to $60 or $70, which this one is, in the $68 price range. So the packaging is fantastic, and I actually think, not to be playing on words here, but it's part of the package of getting this knife or another knife from Civivi. You know what? There is a lot of things that can add to the pleasure of a purchase with your hard-earned American greenbacks or your dineros or your francs or your rubles or whatever it is, wherever you are that you're spending on this Civivi product. You want that satisfaction not only from the knife, but that packaging and that pouch really adds to the overall package of purchasing a Civivi product. That is very, very much appreciated by everybody. I mean, Baz on Blades loves it, but everybody else does too. Now, this is what I would call a medium full size EDC type knife. You're right at about 3.5 inches of blade length, slightly less than 9 centimeters. The blade stock thickness, I got 118 thousandths of an inch, and it's about 3 millimeters. Your blade width, just a hair over 1 inch or 27 millimeters. Handle length, 4.5 inches or 11.5 centimeters. Your handle thickness, pretty average, 520 thousandths of an inch, right at 1/2 an inch, or 13.2 millimeters. Your handle width at the widest, 1.2 inches or 30.4 millimeters. The closed width, still very good, guys. 1.5 inches, including the flipper tab. That's not bad. And that's about 37 millimeters there. Overall length is 8 inches, give or take, or 20.5 centimeters. Your stock pin diameter actually perfectly matches your blade stock thickness. That's 118 thousandths of an inch, or 3 millimeters. Behind the edge thickness. Guys, I recently reviewed another Civivi knife, and that was the Wyvern model, and I talked about how incredibly thin behind the edge that it was ground, and this knife is pretty much the same. In this knife, we are looking at, I hit it in 3 spots along the edge grind, and guys, it was like 18 thousandths of an inch. It's a very thin behind the edge. It's got this nice high flat saber grind on it, but it's very thin behind the edge. 18 thousandths, that's about 0.47 millimeters. Your handle to blade ratio was like 0.75, which is very good. And your weight, a very reasonable 3.74 ounces or 106 grams. Like I said, guys, this is on the upper medium end of an EDC knife with basically a 3.5 inch blade and a 8 inch overall length. But you're slightly above, but you're right at that 1 ounce per inch of blade length, weight to blade length ratio, which is very good. It's becoming more and more of a standard to judge, as far as that characteristic goes for an EDC knife. Now, material-wise, in the blade, we're in D2 tool steel. Again, you guys know I like D2 tool steel. I'm not an ultra fanboy, but I do appreciate what D2 is capable of, and I also appreciate its shortcomings. D2 tool steel is a basic high carbon, high chromium, semi-stainless tool steel. It is a decades-old formula tool steel. We're talking World War II era. So it has been around. It has been used by every modern manufacturing country on the face of the planet. You're looking at 1.5 to 1.6% carbon, 11.5 to 12% chromium. That misses the stainless qualification by a percentage and a half. It is a vanadium alloyed steel, so you get plenty of those super hard vanadium carbides suspended in the matrix of the steel because you've got a 0.9 to 1.1% vanadium content. Typically, you will see D2 rock weld around 60 to 62 rock weld. And with the combination of ingredients, the formula for the steel, and the Rockwell range typically gives you very good edge retention. D2 takes a very toothy, aggressive, fine edge, will hold it for a moderate amount of time, but then it really excels at a working edge. It will hold a working edge. It's very toothy because of those big, large vanadium carbides suspended in the steel matrix. It'll hold a working edge for a long time. It's great for that. Toughness. Now, D2 can be a little chippy if it's too hard, if it's maybe run a little hot when they sharpen at the factory. If the edge grind is too thin, it's not the best steel for impact resistance. Now, it's not bad. Okay, with this 18 thousandths behind the edge, you know what? That is getting to the thin point, in my opinion, for D2, in my experience. I like to see D2 in the 19 to 21 thousandths sort of behind the edge thickness. But you know what? It's going to be really slice of an aggressive cutter at that edge thickness. And you know you're not going to take this knife out chopping down any trees or chopping into cinder blocks or, I mean, whatever you're going to chop with, guys. So you really don't have to worry about that sort of impact resistance. Now, as far as the corrosion resistance, it's not bad. I've never owned a D2 knife that rusted on me, guys. Never. I've owned plenty of stainless steels that rusted because I thought they were stain proof, and they're not. But with a modicum, just a marginal, a bare amount of care, D2 is so easy to take care of. All it takes is a very light coat of mineral oil. I use Tough Glide. There are some other corrosion resistance products out there. You just wipe it on, you wipe off the excess. D2 just goes to town, guys. No worries. So not a bad steel at all. And we are seeing it more and more predominantly as sort of the, let's call it one of the premium steels in the budget arena. You know what? It's better than your AUS 8s and your 8CRs and your 12C27 or whatever it is. You know, it's more considered sort of a premium in the budget arena. It's becoming very regular on these higher quality Chinese-made knives. Now, material-wise in the handle, you do have G10 and carbon fiber laminate scales, which are just basically, you know, they're G10 with a single layer of carbon fiber. It gives you the look of the carbon fiber, but the lower cost of the G10. And you know what? G10 is a very strong, it's solvent resistant, it's resistant to dirt, resistant to temperature extremes when used in this way. It's a very tough material. And you know, it's not, you're not giving up anything with G10. And then to get the look of the carbon fiber, and it is real carbon fiber, is just, it gives it sort of a premium look without the premium price. So that's awesome, guys. No issues there whenever it's used by multiple different manufacturers. Now you've got stainless steel liners, and they are that incredibly ugly gold, guys. I'm sorry. For you that like the gold liners, Please don't take this personally, but those are just the most incredibly ugly liners that I've ever seen on a knife. They don't have to do that. They don't. I mean, look at this Wyvern again. It's got black liners, guys. You don't even see the liners because they're nested and they're black, and that's awesome. And this gold is not, as far as the looks goes, in my opinion, my personal preference. Quality-wise, I mean, they're great, guys. They're weight relieved. Let's pull out the flashlight here. We'll get a little, oh my God, that's on low too. Man, I love O-light lights. Let's pull that back out there. We'll just get up real close here, guys. You can see that there is quite a bit of milling for lightweight on those stainless liners. It is a liner lock. This is more of a premium knife for Civivi, and it features titanium small parts, and they're anodized. The pivot, which is steel shafted, but it does have titanium caps on it. And at least that's what I think it is, guys. It does pull a magnetic response, which could be the steel, but I think that it is titanium caps on a steel shaft, a steel barrel, you might say, with that two-part pivot. But you get that, and it's anodized a nice bronze, guys. It looks very good. The screws, titanium, guys, titanium screws on a $68 knife. There is a company out there that does knives that the base models are $500, $600, $800, $1,000, and then they will charge you, if you want to upgrade to titanium hardware, a couple of $100 more, guys, but you're getting it on this $68 knife. And not only is it the small parts, it's a milled titanium pocket clip. Again, and look at how good those anodized screws look on that bead blast and stone washed, the darker sort of clip finish there. That looks really good, guys. If they would have done this in black liners, just make the liners disappear with the black G10, and then did this hardware on that, oh my God, that would have looked awesome, guys. It doesn't look bad right here. And if you like the gold, it looks great. So material-wise, you are very premium for a budget knife. Now, fit and finish. Let's go back up here to the blade, because this is one of two areas that I disagree with the finish on this knife. Look at this knife, guys. I mean, look at it right there. You've got the carbon fiber, you've got the anodized titanium, and then you've got this super subdued. Really, guys, it is, the blade finish is way too subdued. It's well done. It's a combination bead blast tumbled finish, but it's not bright at all. It's uniform. It's attractive for what it is. You know, it's smooth and all that, but to me, it just does not match the rest of the knife. It's too subdued. Think about how nice this knife would look 100% the way it is, except with, you know, a more pronounced stone wash, a brighter stone wash, or even a satin finish, and do this ball milled section recessed as a different finish, guys. I think that would have matched much better. Now, as far as the fit of the blade, the grind of the blades, again, you've got a high flat grind. It's a saber grind, guys. It is basically terminating in the center point of this ball mill detail in here, this blood groove or whatever you want to call it. But everything about the blade, as far as the quality of it, is 110% what you would ever expect out of a budget knife. And again, I'm going to bring the Wyvern in here, guys. I want you to look at this. Just imagine the satin finished blade here with the way they did the Wyvern was they did a bead blast and then they satined off everything, and it left the recesses in the ball mill detailing on it, one finish, and then you had the satin. Imagine that done on the Statera. it would look even more premium in my opinion. You know what? It might show fingerprints more, but I mean, good Lord, guys, you've got anodized titanium hardware. As soon as you start touching it, it starts going away because of the oil on your fingers, and then you got to come back with a little bit of Windex on something and wipe it off, and then it just pops out once again once it's got those oils cleaned off that subdue the anodization. So I wish this was a little brighter finish to match, but I can't argue with anything. I can't argue with the grinds on it. Any of the grinds, any of them. The primary grind here, the swedge, the ball mill detailing, guys, the edge grind, the secondary grind, you know, the edge grind, all the finishing around the this sort of miniature forward choil, which is, yeah, it's getting a little tight in there, but it is an awesome sharpening choil, guys. No bitching here about having to, you know, grind a sharpening choil on it or anything. It's good to go. You've got some decent jimping here. I wish that the patch was a little bit longer, because you can see that once you come off of the handle surface here, which is slick, it's the polished liners, and you go up on this jimping, while effective, it's a very small patch, guys, and it's rendered literally half the length of the jimping is rendered less effective because it's nested in between these polished liners, which really prevent you from pushing the flesh of your finger down into the jimping. It's well done. I just wish there was more of it. Personal preference, guys. It's neither here nor there, good or bad, whatever. But I cannot argue with the fit and finish. I even love the blade profile, guys. Fit and finish in the handle. It's, guys, it's a Civivi knife. I mean, this is a third one I've reviewed, and they've all, as far as fit and finish goes, they've been perfect. No issues there at all, guys. The subdued sort of bead blast type of finish on these G10 laminate with the carbon fiber scales makes them some of the best of this type of handle scale. Typically when you see this, it's got a very glossy, shiny surface treatment that makes it look cheap. It shouldn't look cheap, and this does not look cheap, guys. Now, it does knock down a little bit of what the chatoyance, the reflective properties of the carbon fiber. It just takes the edge off of it, guys, but it still has plenty of play in it, and it does look and feel more premium as a satin sort of finish over the gloss finishes we typically see out of this kind of material. As far as the liners go, I don't like the gold, guys, but they're well done. They're fully polished around the entire radius. Internally, they're obviously finished very well, guys. No, I mean, if you like that, they look fabulous. You've got this back spacer here with a built-in sort of lanyard loop here, and honestly, I thought maybe this was Zytail, but it really it feels like G10, guys. I should have looked that up, but I want to say that's G10. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I hope it is. I love G10 as a backspacer material, guys. It's so easy to machine, so easy to work with. It's rigid. It's structurally rigid, guys. It's impact resistant. It's a great, great material. Pocket clip. It's awesome, guys. It's got a little, you know, this double sort of concave sort of dishing on it, and the three lines, the wee lines. You know, it's a really good looking pocket clip. It's fairly deep carry for this type of pocket clip with 2 screws in a parallel pattern. This base pad is not huge, guys. It's only going to put maybe, 3/8 of an inch, of that exposed from your pocket. That's not too bad, guys. And again, it's a budget knife, guys. The look of carbon fiber, the anodized titanium hardware, a milled titanium pocket clip. Come on. What is not to like about this? Action-wise, it's a wee knife, guys. Come on. The upper end Civivi knives, I believe, are on ceramic, single row ceramic bearings. The lower end models are on the steel single row bearings. They're all super smooth. This one feels hydraulic. It is basically drop shut smooth, guys. The detent, awesome. Awesome detent, guys. The flipper tab design, its relationship to the center point of the pivot and the way the detent ball is tuned, or the detent is tuned, make for a great flipper. It's a very enjoyable. The lockup is solid on it. The centering, guys, straight, out of the box here as it was sent to me by Jeff, is perfect. I did touch the pivot just a little bit, adjusted on the tension just a little bit up and down just to see how it would affect the centering and the feel, and it was very stable in both directions. It is not sort of a razor's edge of tension there to get it centered and loose and feeling nice. It had a nice wide range in that adjustment where it stayed really well centered, very well feeling, and great detent. What else do we want to talk about? Oh, let's talk about this little ball mill pattern here. That's interesting, isn't it? You know what? That's a great thing about this laminate. You can mill through the carbon fiber and create these patterns so easily, guys. It's just a great material to work with, and I think it's very appropriate for these budget knives if done this well. All right, ergos and utility. Good Lord, this video is long. Drop point blade, guys. Your decent amount of straight edge here, great belly, a tip that will catch and pierce with minimal effort. No, it's not going to be the stabbiest thing in the world, but it's not too super thick out towards the tip. Again, the blade stock thickness was 118 thousandths or 3 millimeters, so it's not super thick. It does have that thin edge, high flat grind. It slices very well, guys. Great blade profile, great grind, great performance. What else can I say? Handle wise, you know what? It's there, guys. It's ergonomic. It's comfortable. It's a good relationship of the handle width and the handle thickness. It doesn't feel too awful slab-sided in the hand. It's easy to index. It feels great in multiple grips, guys. No issues there. So as far as utility and ergonomics, I like it. And this pocket clip, it's doggone, it's comfortable. I can feel that it's there. And it might, under extended super heavy car door stabbing, it might be a hot spot. But you know what? The last time I stabbed through a car door, I just used my finger, guys. I just right through that car door because I didn't want to damage my knife. And my finger is like it's the finger of death. Finger of death. Okay, I'm sorry if I scared you guys with my finger of death. But ergos and utility is fantastic, guys. So what do we think about this Civivi product? I'm really impressed with Civivi as a brand. I'm impressed with the quality of their knives. I'm impressed with the packaging, the whole package that you purchase with the knife. It really is special, even amongst the very best of the budget knives. You know what? If you can get past the gold liners, buy it. Buy it, guys. Come on. It's a great knife. It's feature set. It's material set. It's quality and fit and finish. Ergos and utility potential are fabulous. You know what? I would have liked to have seen it in a brighter blade finish, but you know what? It is what it is, guys, and it's still recommended by Bazon Blades. Jeff, buddy, thank you. I will get this thing back in the mail to you. I know you wanted to see this video. I'm very much appreciative of you sending me this knife. As always, guys, thank you for taking the time to watch one of my videos. God bless all of you, and we will talk to you again.